Episode 206 of the Outdoor Biz Podcast with Steve Gallo from OOFOS, brought to you by Liberty Lakes Design Works. When I'm looking for brand identity work, graphics design, and website development, I call my good buddy Marty Heister and Liberty Lakes Design Works. Marty and his team do terrific work, and I love their deep dive process in identifying exactly what you need and want. Visit libertylakesdesignworks.com and get Marty and his creative wizards on your team today. I believe achieving success in the outdoor biz is dependent upon embracing the outdoor lifestyle and learning from outdoor leaders that came before you. If you agree, then listen up for tips, advice, and hacks about growing or starting your career in the outdoor biz. My name is Rick Sayes. Welcome to the Outdoor Biz Podcast. So I've been hearing from retailers, brands, outfitters, and others that one of the challenges they face these days is engaging with new and existing customers. You post on all the socials, publish articles, blogs, videos in order to grab attention, and the response is, maybe not, let's just say not what you hoped. Today, a better option is a podcast, and you might think you don't have the time or the budget or the talent to produce one, but I think you do, and I'll show you how. The podcast will give you broader reach to an unlimited amount of customers and a clear opportunity to meaningfully impact a huge number of people. So if you're curious about podcasting, visit podcastersworkshop.com/brainstorm, and let's jump on a call and talk about it. My guest today has an impressive footwear background and an even more impressive educational background. We're talking with Steve Gallo, president of recovery footwear brand OOFOS. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Thanks, Rick. It's great to be here.
Yeah, good to be talking with you again. We had a nice meeting at OR. It's great to meet you there and see all the cool stuff you guys are up to. That was fun.
Nah, thanks. It's super exciting time at OOFOS, and we love to share our story and introduce people to the brand.
Very cool. That was not your first OR? You'd been to OR before, right?
Yeah, we've been to quite a few.
Okay.
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah, that's
so,
what I thought.
we have a lot of our key customers like REI, often attend that show, and it's a good opportunity for us to get in front of them, show them our new products and some of our new marketing and whatnot.
Yeah, very cool. So let's start off with ask everybody this. How did you get introduced to the outdoors? You were an athlete as a kid?
Yeah, I was. And believe it or not, so growing up north of Boston, my dad was really into the outdoors. We spent a lot of time in New Hampshire, and he actually climbed all the 4,000 footers in the Appalachian Trail in New Hampshire. And it's funny, you and I were talking about this earlier, but he kept one of those journals on all of his hikes up to the different 4,000 footers and who we went with and, what transpired. And I haven't done all of them, to say I want to finish them all, but he did all of them even twice. And funny story. The other family member that did all of them was our golden retriever, Hula, who, he's in the book, and he did all the 4,000 footers. My dad actually got the 4,000 footer patch. So,
cool.
And it was a lot of great memories. Climbing Mount Washington and up in Tuckerman's Ravine. And my dad also skied, so he actually skied Tuckerman's, and I was too small to ski it. But there's a trail up there called the Dover-Sherburne Trail, and I actually skied down that when I was about 8 years old. Which,
I hear that's a tough ski.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tuckerman's is tough. I mean, it's steep, and you got to hike up. But there's some crazy people that go off that.
I have a bunch of friends that have done it.
We hung out on the rocks on the side and kind of watched the fun unfold. But
nice.
It was fantastic, and I can remember climbing like Mount Isolation. If you're familiar with some of the mountains up there, and that was a pretty challenging trail. Certainly not like the Rockies. And,
sure, yeah. Everything's challenging in its own way. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's a cool thing to have too. That he journaled that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So my sister and brother and I still have that. When he passed away, it's a nice keepsake for us.
Great.
But he introduced us to the outdoors early, and my family and I have an incredible respect for it, and we love it.
Cool.
We love it.
Good.
So it's some really great memories.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. And how did you get into the footwear side of the world?
So I'd love back to your comment earlier. Always played sports growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was the traditional sports of football, baseball, basketball, but just always outside with folks playing wiffle ball and
we did
riding our bikes. All that. So we were a super active family, and I fell in love with footwear at an early age with sports. I don't know what it was, but
pretty integral to your sports career, right? I mean, if your feet hurt, you're hosed.
Yeah, and I always wanted the we're a blue collar family, but, I always tried to, cutting lawns and, help people do odds and ends. I'd save my money. And the thing I always bought was footwear, whether it was, the latest, basketball shoe or football cleat and things like that. So I really got involved in it. And, I wanted to, combine my passion for, footwear and athletic apparel and, business. And that's how I got involved in the industry.
Perfect.
So I'm doing, haven't worked a day in my life. So I'm pretty fortunate.
That's perfect. What were your favorite brands back in the day?
Yeah, I'd have to say, Nike, Adidas, obviously, some of those early basketball products. And actually, I like Puma a lot. They had, remember Marcus Allen was one of the guys that wore Puma, and I had his football cleats. So now I'm starting to date myself here. Rick.
Well, I tell you, I go back. My shoes were Riddell or however you say that. I always had to have Riddell cleats, man. That was what I had to have. So that goes back a little further.
The Coach, remember that Coach's shoe they made was big in the Northeast. It was like a rippled outsole.
Yeah.
And I think it was Spot Built was the name of the brand.
There was one too.
It was Saucony, right? And then Riddell was still there. Obviously they were big in the football helmet area, but they made cleats. I had a pair of those as well.
Yeah, I think we had Riddell helmets, which is why I had to have the shoes. Who knows?
Exactly.
Everything had to match, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
And you also have quite an educational background: Nichols College, Duke, Assumption College, MIT, Northwestern, Harvard. Did I miss anything?
No, that.
How'd you get? What was all the education?
Yeah, I was the first one in my family to go to college.
Oh, cool.
So that was a pretty special thing. And my mom and I, my dad, we didn't know really how to do it. At the end of the day, we were fortunate enough to get financial aid back then. And I knew I wanted to play football in college. And at Nichols, they were Division III. It was perfect for me. I aspired to play at Penn State, but at 5'6", 130-pound quarterback, not too many, the big schools were looking for that size. But and then I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I said, my folks like, why don't you be an accountant? And I said, well, I'd like to be in physical therapy. And they're like, well, they don't make any money. So I'm like, well, all right. So I'll go to business school and play football. And hated accounting, to be honest with you. So I ended up majoring in business management, but I knew, like I said earlier, I wanted to do something I loved in and around sports and, apply my business degree. And, from there, I went to work at Reebok, which was an incredible experience. And then from there to Adidas. But, throughout it, one of the things I find is, I never want to stop learning. Right. And, I was enamored with the fact that, I really wanted to get my MBA. So I went back nights to Assumption College, which is near my home in Worcester. And, I was the old man in the classes. It was kind of funny because I think I was, early 40 years old, something like that, late 30s. And, you got most of the people in there just graduated undergrad. And, what was really neat was, in obviously most MBA programs, you follow kind of the Harvard Business School case study method, right? So you're doing cases in all these different companies, and it was just really neat to be able to apply my experience where a lot of the kids in my class didn't have that experience, right? And sit there and say, well, it's interesting because this is how I see that unfolding based on my experience. And I really connected with one of the professors there, and some of the best, the best educational moments that I can remember is sitting in his office, talking about, his experience at AT&T and my experiences and, at Adidas and Reebok. And it was just really cool to tap into that knowledge. And, from there, I just, I would have always wanted to go on to a place like Harvard or Duke or Northwestern. And I said to myself, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, you took all of these educational institutions and did a course in what they specialize in, right? So in Northwestern, it's typically marketing and branding. So I took a branding course there and actually took a sales course there. MIT for innovation, Duke for leadership, which was phenomenal. And then I capped it off with at Harvard, kind of being the creme de la creme. And took their general management program where I took a sabbatical from my job at Adidas and went and basically lived on campus for 2 months.
Wow, what a great idea and a great experience, man.
Yeah, no, it was, and the people that you meet.
Yeah,
the best way to describe it, it was life changing. Is you take an MBA program, which typically goes 2 years there, and they cram it into 4 months. And you're on campus for 2 months, and then you're working.
It's intense.
Through virtual classes, but it was real intense.
Yeah.
And a lot of business cases. We had lunches and dinners with all kinds of CEOs. And,
yeah, that's cool.
Whether it was Best Buy, whether it was Henkel, who's a consumer products company out of Europe, whether it was people from Amazon, et cetera.
So you got not only the education part of it, but you got the business education part of it as well. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. And it focused on, the key topics were leadership, general management, as I mentioned, and then, finance.
Yeah.
So it was great. We actually had, a Q&A session with, a lot of these CEOs,
sure,
like from Best Buy and his senior management team, and Alex Ferguson, who was the coach at Manchester United for years, talking about his leadership skills. So
that's awesome.
Just incredible experience. And
I can imagine.
It just opened my eyes up to a lot of new ideas, and also the people that you met, the relationships you make. They're all from all over the world,
and friends for life.
You're
now,
a minority.
Right?
Yeah. And we kept in touch, and I'm an official alumni of Harvard. So even though I went for 4 months, so I'll take it though, and it was great.
Right
I still keep in touch with a few of the professors, but just the people there were just amazing. And I mentioned earlier, I'm not great at accounting, but the guy who taught accounting at Harvard, I'll tell you, if I had him as a professor, I'd be an accountant today.
Wow,
and that's the kind of some of the people that we met, which was really, really neat.
Well, that's the thing. Some of the reasons you go to school are, in addition to the education you get. I had the same thing when I got my master's at BYU. It was all about the people and the experience. It was crammed into, I think 6 months total over for 2 years or something. But and it was awesome. Some of the people that went to that program are still friends of mine today. I was not Mormon, so I was one of the 2 guys that were not Mormon, but they just embraced us, and we just learned a ton. It was great. Yeah, that's a good experience.
It's similar situation for me. Cool. It's really good. Really good.
So now you've been with OOFOS a little over 2 years. Tell our listeners about OOFOS. I just am learning about recovery footwear, and thanks for that pair of flip-flops. Those are great.
Cool. No, happy to do it. Yeah. So, when I left Adidas, I knew I wanted to try something different on a smaller scale that had what I thought was an incredible opportunity. And I'd actually, after leaving Adidas, I'd planned on actually taking a year off and doing some more educational courses. But I was approached by the founders of OOFOS, and I knew of them because they had worked at Nike, Adidas, and Reebok.
Okay.
Two of them were in the product development and production side, and the other 2 were in design. And they actually were running a footwear consulting business called WWE, and they've done a bunch of work for different footwear companies. But they had relationships over in Korea with a lot of the factory owners, and one of them was a chemical engineer, and he had developed this new foam, which does really the exact opposite of what you typically find in athletic shoes.
Huh.
When you look at some of these cushioning technologies, that the intention is for them to give energy return, Rick. So ideas when you run in a running shoe with a technology, you bounce, right?
Oh, it's a spring-loaded kind of thing. Got you.
Exactly.
Like the Nike waffle footwear back in the day and whatever,
Yeah.
Okay,
So, a lot of those brands have whatever they call the different technologies.
Yep.
But, this foam actually does the exact opposite. It's impact absorption, so it's very different than, what you see in cushioning and energy return. So the factory owner actually developed it for his aging and ailing mother who had neuropathy, and she had problems in her feet. So he developed this rudimentary sandal with this foam compound that he developed. And she was like, wow, these are incredible. I can actually walk, without any help. And because of the impact absorption, and so our founders he mentioned to our founders, and he said, hey, what do you think you could do anything with this? And they had, two of our founders had lived over in Asia for quite some time. And, they know development and production really well.
Yeah.
And they gave the technology to one of the designers, the owners here, and they developed kind of a much more refined sandal, which was actually a patented footbed. So the footbed has a slight higher arch.
Yeah.
It has a rocker bottom, so it's kind of, convex.
Yep.
So the idea is you get the full effects of the foam with this designed footbed and bottom unit.
Okay.
And what happens is it helps you within the gait cycle, and you get the sensation of that impact absorption. And they started testing it on a bunch of different people, and they couldn't believe the reaction.
Yeah, the little sandals that I've been wearing are super comfortable.
Yeah, so the name
my knees don't hurt as much.
Well, and that's the thing. What we found with the technology was, we have 37% more impact absorption than any other foam out there.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is we found is a lot of people with plantar fasciitis and knee pain and back pain. They're like, man, I wear these around, and it eliminates my pain. And these come from testimonials.
Yeah.
And we're in the process of trying to get some more scientific testing done on it.
We're get some data behind that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we know that we're about 30% with 30% less ankle power usage. What that means is it's easier to walk. The ankle joint really is what's key, right?
Okay, yeah.
In the kinetic chain, and it takes a lot of that. The force off of that, so it's
Gotcha.
easier to walk in, so to speak, right? So we're actually working. We did a study at the University of Virginia. We did another study at the University of Massachusetts. There's a biomechanist there that we're working with, and she's fantastic. And we're actually looking at, obviously recovery, as you mentioned,
sure,
recovery footwear. And the idea is, when you're walking in our product, because you're using less ankle power. It's easier to walk in, and you can recover faster from
and
workouts,
we're all
marathons, etc.
Yeah, and as we're all living, longer and longer, and we're more active. Some of us that we're athletic, we have various issues from playing sports, but others, things just wear out. Your hips wear out, your knees wear out, your ankles wear out, and anything to mitigate that is going to be huge. That's great.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's fantastic. And I'll tell you a quick story. So what did it really for me is that I was investigating OOFOS because basically the owners, they had to buy 50,000 pair to hit the minimum. And then they had a little warehouse and garage here in Hull, Massachusetts. And they started selling out of that area. And they started, going around to different little retailers and, different, events and selling the product. And, there was a run specialty shop on the South Shore that I went into, and I was talking to the sales associate about OOFOS. They had stocked OOFOS, and he said, "No, they sell really well, and people really love them." And I said, "Oh, great, thanks." And anyway, there was a woman who was trying on a pair of like Asics running shoes or something, and she walks over to me and said, "Excuse me, I heard you talking to the sales clerk about OOFOS." And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I just want to tell you they're the only things I wear when I'm not in my running shoes." Wow. And I was like blown away, and I said, that kind of put it over the top for me and said, "Hey, we've got something really special here."
Yeah.
And, it's been incredible. The brand has grown, over 40%, CAGR over the last several years. And, we're in 36 countries. We just got into, REI, and we're in all doors there, and they're doing very well with the brand. And we're in a lot of running specialty accounts like Jackrabbit, Marathon Sports, and Fleet Feet. So the testimonials we get from people are pretty amazing. And,
I would think
it's special. We're making a difference.
Yeah, and I think that outdoor crowd will just line right up to it. I mean, everybody I know has got something that is banged up from climbing or skiing, or if they did play sports. Where did the name come from?
Yeah, so funny story. It's not real technical, but
it's great though. I love it.
The reaction when people try the product on, the first thing they say is "ooh," and it develops into OOFOS.
I like it.
It's really the reaction that you get, and we have this saying called, you gotta feel the ooh, and
cool.
And it's really kind of taken off. So
that'd be a great T-shirt.
Yeah,
or maybe it already is a T-shirt. Yeah,
we're working on it. We're definitely working on it.
That's cool. So. And didn't you tell me a story that Deion Sanders grabbed a pair, or you got a pair in his hand somehow?
Yeah. So interesting. So we go to a lot of events, and one of the events we went to, we had a little table and tent set up that was a 7-on-7 football tournament down in Texas. And
Okay.
for those who don't know, Deion, he's still, obviously a phenomenal football and baseball player, but retired. But he coaches his son, who's also a great football player down in Texas. And our tech rep, we call him UTEX, was down at this event, and just we're talking to different kids about the product, and we outfitted the winning team with OOFOS, and he went over to Deion. Deion was down there with his high school team, and he said, "Hey, my name's Brian. I'm from OOFOS, and would love Mr. Sanders. I'd love to have you try a product." He said, "Nah." I said, I'm fine. I'm good.
Sponsored by somebody.
Figured like, oh, you want something, right? Here we go again. Someone wants something.
Or he's sponsored. He can't break a contract.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, he goes, "Why don't you leave him?" And, maybe I can give him to a friend of mine or something. So anyway, our tech rep Brian said, "Well, I tried." And, he told us about, hey, that's kind of cool. You had a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Anyway, 3 days later, he gets a call on his phone, reads his phone. It says, maybe Deion Sanders. It's like, wow. So he picks up, he's like, "Hello?" And he goes, "Hey, Brian, this is Deion." He goes, "Man," he goes, "I don't know." He goes, "You left me those sandals." And he goes, I don't know what the hell's in these things, but I can't stop wearing them.
Wow.
And he goes, "I've had 3 surgeries on my toe, and I need another one.
Hey.
And I can't walk, on my hardwood floors and tile floors." He goes, "And I put these things on, and I don't know what it is, but man," he goes, "they're incredible. How do I get involved with you guys?" So myself and our CEO, Lou Panichon, flew down to Dallas. We met with him, and, he said, hey, he wants to, join the team, and now we're going to be working together. And
Wow.
he's helping us, break in with a lot of athletes.
That's
and,
awesome.
Different sports teams. And what's great about it, Rick, is it's authentic, right?
Yeah,
he
right,
loves
exactly.
the product.
Yeah.
And, it's been fantastic. And we have other athletes that now that are doing the same thing. And, it's really cool to see. It's
That's
really
great.
cool to see. And, it's great for the brand. So it's, like we have a saying, if you think about it, most products don't, it's pretty rare when they exceed your expectations.
Yep.
Obviously Apple has done it and brands like that. But, when you get people say, who own 6, 7, 10, 12 pair of our products,
exactly.
It's incredible. So we're humbled, and we're really excited.
Well, and the authenticity and the grassroots of the way you guys are doing it too, I think is admirable. That's awesome. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What do you find most enjoyable at your work there? Is it that kind of thing, meeting those guys? And
yeah, I think number one, what number one is, we're a mission-driven company, and a lot of folks, we're young. We don't have a lot of brand awareness. We're a small company.
Yeah.
But, we're mission-driven, and what motivates us is when those stories I just told you, when we make people feel better, right?
Yeah.
And in everything we do, whether it's from people experiencing our products, or we get on the phone with people and they tell us their story, and, our customer care team that, we want to make people feel good with their experience with us. So, we know if we do that, the business will grow. And, I'd say that's the most important thing. We got an incredible group of people here.
That's great.
Like I said, we're small. We've got about 30 people right now. We're growing, and we want to grow more. But, like I said earlier, it's all about making people feel the U. We call that spreading the U. So we want to spread the U as much as we can.
That's very cool. Any new initiative you guys are working on that you can talk about?
Yeah. So look, we want, like I said, we want to grow, and this year we're going to launch a whole new brand campaign. It'll be our biggest spend to date. I can tell you that. It's mostly digital, but we got a lot of new products that we're bringing in this year. We've got a shoe called the Easy, double E, big Z, double E.
I love it.
That we're really excited about. That kind of has a lifestyle feel to it. We also have a winter boot that we'll launch, which is all based on recovery, right?
Yeah.
So after, our customers ask us, hey, obviously most of the country is fairly cold, during the winter months. Is there something I can wear around that, keep my feet warm? And, we have a boot, and we're going to launch that same boot in men's,
cool.
This coming holiday. But we're really excited about the campaign, because it really, like I said earlier, brand awareness has been our biggest challenge. And, we want to tell more people about, OOFOS recovery footwear, what it means, and, get people to try the product. That's the goal. Because once you try it, like you've experienced,
it's great. Yeah.
You get a great feel. So
I can't wait for summer so I can wear those flip-flops more. I can't wear them that much in the winter, but
I know, right? Exactly. We'll have to get you a pair of the men's boots when they come out.
Yeah,
so
cool. There you go.
Make sure you hit me up for those.
Will do.
I'll take care of you.
Awesome. Thanks. So let's switch gears a little bit. If you could hang a huge banner at the front entrance to the OR show, what would it say?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it would say, do yourself a favor and try OOFOS.
Nice.
And get yourself a carabiner and hang them on your backpack. And,
I love it.
It's we do really well as kind of an attachment sale to running shoes and hiking boots. If you really think about it. Yeah. So, we're kind of a piece of equipment that I think everyone could get a benefit from. Mm-hmm. And that's what the banner would read.
I like it. That's perfect. What outdoor activities do you participate in still? Do you run at all, or?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it running.
Yeah, I don't even try it these days, but
I call it, slogging along.
The shuffle, the old guy shuffle.
Yeah, exactly. So I get out there and, I'll do that. I actually love being in the outdoors. It's, you get a chance to meditate. And like I said, at an early age, my dad introduced myself and my siblings, to the outdoors. And, we did a lot of hiking, and, it gives me great peace of mind. And, I like to do the same thing with my family, and I like to ride my mountain bike. And, again, in the Northeast, it's certainly not the West, but we got a lot of great areas. And, I love being outside. I love working out, lifting some weights here and there, and, whatnot.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of great outdoor stuff. It's just that the season's a little shorter, and you might have to bundle up a little sooner, but you can still get out. Yeah.
Cross country ski. I really love that. Yeah. And we'll do a lot of that as well.
Yeah, very cool. Do you have any suggestions or advice for folks wanting to get into the outdoor biz or the footwear biz? Yeah,
I think just there's number one, if you're passionate about it, go for it. I mean, and if you can combine, I tell my kids this all the time, something you truly love to do and you're good at it as well, that's a magic formula, and life's too short not to do what you love. And if you're passionate about this, there's always room for you and in this area. And I love it. Like I said, my dad that grew up, my dad worked at a factory on a grinding wheel at General Electric in Lynn. And, he used to tell me all the time, just make sure you do something that you love, And for me, I've been very fortunate in that regard. And I would just tell people, if you love the outdoors and, you love footwear, it's an incredible industry, and, go for it.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. A lot of people have said that, and you're dead on. I mean, it's so much fun, and the people are great. That's good. How about daily routines used to keep your sanity? Do you meditate? Sounds like you get a fair amount of exercise.
I got I have the Calm app, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But we have someone here that works with us. Her name's Linda Jarrow. She's actually a body coach. She lives in Rhode Island, and she comes up on Mondays, and very often we'll have kind of a little group class on. She teaches what's called a foot melt class, and with that we'll do a lot of meditation and breathing, which everyone loves, and you need to do it because, believe it or not, it makes you more productive. So I've tried to make that, part of my daily routine as well, on my own. But we also have those Mondays that everybody looks forward to that Linda runs for us, and
that's cool.
The team loves it, and I like to see more companies do more of it, because it definitely helps make our team more productive, and nothing but great feedback on those sessions.
Yeah, I would agree. We'll have to look. Does she have a website?
She doesn't.
Okay.
She just works on individual clients.
Gotcha. Okay.
She's got a little studio down in Rhode Island, but I think if you Google her name's Linda Jarroz, Jarros.
Yeah, we'll Google her and link to her. Yeah, we'll link to her stuff so she can get a little shout out for that. Yeah. How about you listen to a lot of podcasts, or we talked about books? What are some of your favorite books or books you may have given as gifts?
Yeah, so 3 come to mind for me that are big ones. First one's Mindset. I don't know if you heard of Mindset, but it's by Carol Dweck. it's a growth mindset versus a static mindset.
Yep, exactly.
For me, it's been very helpful, and that's one of the books that I have dog-eared and highlighted with a lot of great info.
Yeah.
The other one, Start With Why. Simon Sinek.
Another good one.
We're a mission-driven company here, and that book was very inspirational to us. I gave that out to the entire team.
Great.
And then the other one, just on from personal development, is 4 Agreements. And that's been a really powerful book. So
yeah.
Some of your listeners may not like this, but I am a big Patriot fan. So obviously Tom Brady, that's one of his favorite books.
Yep.
That he has. So that's how I got into that one. But
there you go.
Hopefully we get him back this year. We'll see.
Yeah, what's going on? He's still in the dark,
Man.
Right? We don't know what's happening.
We're sweating it. We're sweating it in New England, that's for sure.
Well, maybe you'll end up with Philip Rivers.
Yeah, maybe. You could be right. So we're not going to rule anything out, but we hope to have Mr. Brady back.
There you go. Yeah. How about a favorite outdoor gear purchase under $100?
Yeah. So for me, one of the biggest one is really the recovery foam rollers that I purchased at REI.
Right. Yeah.
You have the little, the ball, and you put that on your hamstring. I got super tight hamstrings, so for me that was one of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, socks.
No.
And when you're in the footwear business, socks play an important role. And I go to REI, and actually they make a great private label sock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you have a favorite brand? REI socks. All right. Yeah, I wear a lot of those too. Yeah.
I love them. They're real durable, and they're a great fit.
Cool. We'll link to those in the show notes too. Yeah, and those books as well. As we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to say to our listeners or ask of our listeners?
No, I just think, hey, try OOFOS.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's a product that people tell us all the time from the testimonials that it exceeds their expectations, and it's an amazing product. And being in the footwear business for over 30 years, it's pretty special. It's a pretty special place and special company, and we're all about trying to make people feel better, and would love to have folks try the product.
Cool. Well, we'll be sure to link to the show notes. I'm a believer, so you got another convert here. I'll tell everybody about it.
Fantastic. No, we love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you. And if people want to follow up with you, email, Twitter, Instagram, what's the best way? LinkedIn?
Yeah, I would do. I would go through LinkedIn, and you'll find me on there. That's the best way to do it. And, I love to hear from people. So
cool. We'll
put that, by all means.
Yeah, we'll put that link too. Yeah, we'll link to that and link to all the OOFOS stuff on the show notes as well. Well, it's been great talking to you, Steve. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Rick, thanks for having me. This is fantastic, and I really appreciate it. It was great catching up with you.
You too. I'll see you at the next OR.
All right, Rick.
All right. Thanks. If you have sore knees, ankles, feet, or hips, grab a pair of OOFOS to reduce the stress on your joints and hips, and you'll be doing the happy dance. Be sure and visit oofos.com and pick up a pair today. Thank you for listening. If you want more of the Outdoor Biz Podcast, be sure and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. Be sure and go to the outdoorbizpodcast.com where you find all the episodes, show notes, and much, much more. Have a great week, and be sure to get outside.